Hey everybody, welcome to Pink Shade. It's Tuesday, so that means it's 90 Day Fiance, Season 10, Episode 19, Tell All, Part Uno. Are you ready to rumble, Kimberly?
I'm so ready. I'm wearing a sequined, glamorous dress, and I'm ready to go. I have someone carrying my train. Everyone's trying to show up Sean Robinson in this episode.
We have to give Bunky Lauren a shout out immediately because she wanted everyone to know that she found the picture. I think it was really her husband was like, she said her husband said,
yeah,
you got to send it. Yeah. But she found like the exact Barbie like in the box with that dress on that Nikki had on.
Yeah. So Nikki's wearing a floofy. It's the best word I can describe it.
It's like a loofah material.
Yeah. Pink, ruffled. And there actually, when she walks in, is a PA carrying her train like she's getting married. And the Bunky found out that it's actually a Barbie dress, like a dress that a Barbie has worn.
Yeah. And then lots of people have found pictures of like Kendall Jenner in a similar dress. And, you know, maybe that's a dress that is known to the world that you and I just don't know about.
Well, it's very cute. I would wear it on my wedding. I would go full costume.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't know about it because it seems like it'd be real itchy under the armpits.
Yeah, I might like a different fabric.
But yeah, it's fabulous. Look, flaunt it if you got it, girl.
Yeah.
So that's where we open. And I don't have a next door this week. So if you have one, we can do it. But otherwise, this tell-all is pretty long.
No, let's get right into it.
Okay. So Nikki arrives and says, Nikki Exotica is here. You know, I brought Justin into my life like a real true love story, or so I thought, but it turned out to be a nightmare. Is my hair cute? Ashley and Manuel arrive, and she says, you know, they're both difficult people who fell in love, and they're navigating it. And then she says that she's lost 101 pounds. What? Wow.
I don't understand her scale because I didn't think she had that much weight to lose.
I wouldn't either. At
all. That was shocking.
She looks great. I mean,
yeah, good. I mean, good for her as long as she feels good. Like, good for her.
Yeah.
But I was shocked.
Yeah,
but I need her to start crying. Like, when is she going to be like, I was literally crying. It was like, because it was rain. It was like rain on my wedding day. Like, literally. Ironic. Yeah. Like Alanis Morissette said. It was like literally.
I don't know, because we already went through them.
Yeah, and there was no tears.
She held it together. She's very zen. That sage was working.
I know. And then later, Jasmine's going to have a panic. No, Nikki's going to have a panic attack. And I was like, that's what a panic attack looks like.
That's what we need. That's what we need. So Jasmine tells us she's so happy to be married to Gino. And they're going through old problems and new problems. And sometimes I think he's not being honest with me. And sometimes love is not enough. And he's like, I don't know. Nothing's ever perfect. And tell-alls are always me versus her. So it'll be intense today. But I'm ready to defend myself. So don't fuck with me.
Okay, Gino.
Okay. Ooh, everybody's scared.
We're all scared. Yeah. You sound like a little girl giggling. I cannot wait for Jasmine because Jasmine at the tell-alls is my favorite. It's the only Jasmine I really enjoy. She is so supportive of other women.
Yes.
She tells them how beautiful they are. She empowers them. She gives them good advice. She takes over for Sean Robinson when Sean gets tired and just like asks the hard-hitting questions.
Yeah.
Like that's why I want her on Pillow Talk or to host these reunions.
Yeah, she really shines.
It's like she's a different Jasmine. Like, I feel like maybe she was a good teacher because this is like her in like teacher mode. You know, it's when it's not about her drama.
Yeah.
She's great. And then the second it shifts to her and Jasmine, I mean, Gino, she turns into one of those gremlins after midnight or something.
Never feed them after midnight. So Ashley does some saging and Jasmine goes,
it's not going to work.
No, it doesn't work. And she says, wow, Jasmine's like, wow, you have this good energy and I feel it. And she goes, I know. It's real. Yeah, I know. So Sophie and Rob arrive and she's got the brown hair now. And she goes,
Okay, why is everyone acting like she's changed like her limbs or something? They mention it so many times, like no one's ever dyed their hair before.
Because her other hair was such a hot mess that I
Yeah,
think they're
that's
trying
true.
to really over compliment her so she doesn't go back to it.
That's a great point. It looks so much better now.
So much better. And we've seen the TikTok about her explaining how like her hair was coming out in chunks and she had over dyed it.
It looks healthy and
Yeah.
shiny and yeah.
So she says, I only went blonde because Rob told me to. And he goes, I have never told her that.
They
He said,
can't
I
even
prefer
agree.
He said, I prefer dark. I don't know what the hell she's talking about.
I feel like they're speaking different languages or something. Like,
But they seemed very snuggly and fun on the couches together. When it wasn't about them, they were like,
yeah, they're always like stroking. There's a lot of stroking going on.
yeah, a lot of stroking. Everybody's a lot of stroking.
Yeah.
So Rob and Sophie sit with Jasmine and Gino and Ashley and Manuel. And he's like, I would love to not relive that sexting stuff, but I'm sure it's going to come up. Yeah, of course it is.
Yeah.
Nikki walks in a hot pink loofah dress. And Jasmine says, she and Nikki have been online friends for a while. It's great to see her in person. And Nikki's like, oh, I need some of that saging. I have very negative energy. I have a lot to say. Then she explains that she went to Moldova 2 months ago for Justin's birthday, and she thought they made up. But then he called her last night before the reunion to say he just wants to be friends. He's not trans attracted.
F this man.
I know. He's the worst. And they're
Even
all like,
Rob
what?
the knob is like, he should have told you that way sooner. That's even Rob knows that that's bad before she got invested. And she went back again. He got together with her just to break up with her again. What is this man doing?
Just leave her alone. Just leave her alone. When he says he's not trans attracted, they're all like, it's a little too late to say that. You've been off and on for 17 years and now he's not trans attracted.
Yeah.
And Ashley says, like, you don't deserve that. Like, girl, like, get on with your life.
Then we see Cleo and Christian.
Oh.
Where he was basically just like experimenting and trying it out, but you can't try it out in an actual relationship with someone who has feelings for you.
It has been so many years with these two, so many years.
Such a dick move.
So then we see Justigor on the screen, and he says, yes, we're trying to fix, but we need more time. And Nikki says, I've wasted my time. And they're all like, no, it's not wasted time. It's a life lesson and you move on. And she goes, oh my God, everybody thinks, oh, he's such a nice guy. And Jasmine goes, who is everybody? No one thinks that. and Rob says, yeah, that dude's got a lot of faults. And Ashley says, he has shown you who he is, so you should believe him.
What did I say last week?
He has shown you who he is. You should believe him. Ashley sages Nikki. And Rob looks over like, are we going to have to do this? Like, is she going to sage us too? Like, help. Rob looks like he's a magician or a wedding singer. His outfit is something.
I don't like that. I don't like his whole new look. I don't like his hair. I like his hair in braids better. Yeah. That's just my personal preference. He can obviously do what he wants, but yeah, a magician. That's a good call.
Mm-hmm. He looks like he's going to a Love is Blind wedding. It's like real jazzed up. I just really like, and I had this conversation with Keisha over the weekend. We were doing our Love is Blind recap. I really just like a classic tuxedo, either with a bow tie or a straight tie. And Keisha's like, oh, no, he looked like he was like on the set of Men in Black. I was like, that's what I like. Just, that's what I like on a man. Yes. I don't like a shiny blazer or a floofy bow tie.
I'm okay with that on certain men, but not Rob. No. I don't.
I don't know what he was thinking. He went.
Well, it's the tell-all. People just go nuts.
He went crazy at the tuck shop. He's like, I get a free add-on of a sparkly cummerbund. Let's do it.
He lives in LA. He has a friend who's a stylist or a wannabe stylist, and they are trying out their new looks and trying to get their name. Hey, I styled Rob from 90 Day on the tell-all. Who?
Yeah. Who? So Citra and Sam arrive, and Jasmine's like, oh my God, they're here. So they're all happy because he's not in jail. Mm-hmm. Citra says she's happy to be there. She has a big announcement. Well, duh, we could already tell. I could tell in some of the end of their tell-alls that she was pregnant, but I didn't say it because I didn't want to get hate. but I could tell. So, which is a great idea for them since they'd seen each other twice in their lives. It's a great idea for them to get pregnant right away.
So
Great.
they probably got pregnant before it was revealed if he was going to have to go to prison or not for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Great idea.
So Clayton
Well, they were just doing it like rabbits, though, because they hadn't done it before, and they probably weren't using protection.
I'm sure they'd be happy to tell you all about it.
I know. And the farting.
And the farting and the pooping and So Clayton and Annalie arrive, and Manuel says, I have a question for you. What happened to Mommy? Why a closet?
That was my favorite. That's my favorite thing Manuel's ever done.
What happened to Mommy? Why a closet?
Hi, Clayton. What happened to Mommy? Why a closet?
It was so funny. And Jasmine goes, yeah, it's not normal and it's not right. And Clayton says, you know what? She got herself in a situation where she needed a place to stay.
Yeah.
And that's what was available.
Yeah.
And they all go, oh.
Yeah. He's like,
Mommy is the problem.
Bedroom. Mommy is the problem. I'm not giving her my bedroom. And then I'm going to sleep in the closet. Yeah. She's lucky to have that closet. She's either a hoarder or a gambler or some sort of addict.
Right. Because, you know, he said Brandy has a 4-bedroom house.
Yeah, that's a whole nother work. Oh, I can't wait till next week when we get into the Brandy issues.
I know.
Because basically Ashley is like, you guys have a weird dynamic for a brother and sister. Yeah. What's going on?
You obviously hate each other.
Yeah. But there's more than that. It's hate, but it's also like obsession. It's very weird.
It's going to be good next week.
Yeah.
So Devin and Nick arrive, and she says she's happy she finally gets to speak for herself because during the season she was a little quiet. And Nick says he's prepared to defend himself, and he's not going to listen to losers trying to come at him.
Why did he come off as so nice in the first part of the season? And then when he got to America, he revealed how much he hates Americans, which I hate Americans too. Valid. We're sometimes awful. But like this cockiness that's like, you know, you're just all stupid and fat Americans and you're losers. I'm not going to take criticism from anybody. If you criticize me, you're a loser. When did he turn into this douchebag?
I don't know, but I don't like him saying I'm not going to take criticism from losers coming at me. Like, you don't know if I mean, some of them are losers.
Yeah, fair. Rob, yes, that's that's valid.
I was digging Rob on this episode, but Justigor, loser. So they all go to the set, and Nikki walks in that giant dress, and Justigor goes, Who that bird? Hi, can you see me? You look here, you look there. Can you see me? Bird, hello? And she's like, oh my God.
He's acting like they're best friends.
It's very strange.
She's like, hi, yeah.
I hate him. I think he's super fake.
Yeah.
I think he thinks he's hilarious. Mm-hmm. He's not.
Yeah.
He's gross.
We thought he was charming at some points.
Yeah.
But his heart is not good.
No, I agree. So Sean walks out in her business casual dress. She always looks incredible. It doesn't matter what she's wearing, what her hairdo is. She always looks great. I can't believe she's like 60 years old. She's just
never aged. What?
She's like 60.
No.
Look it up.
God, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Wow.
She says, you know, just to let you know, as always, we have interpreters on the set. So if you know, anybody has a problem, just make sure, you know, everybody can be understood, blah, blah, blah. So I think like in, you know, Manuel's ear, they have an earpiece, and probably for Annalie, just to, you know, yeah. So Sean's like, hi, Rob and Sophie. Okay. So why'd you change your hair? And she was like, oh, it was just damaged. And I just did it. And how do you think Rob's like, oh, I love it. I think she looks great. Hi, Nikki. Hi, Justin. How is it seeing each other today? And he goes, babe, you look wonderful. And Sean goes, we got to see this dress. So she stands up. She sews her dress. And he goes, make the Vogue. Do the Vogue. Okay, baby, you Vogue. I was like, shut up.
Don't act like you have not destroyed this woman.
He's horrible. And he says, she reminds me of the Phoenix. And Ashley goes, yeah, you say, oh, babe, you look beautiful, but where do you stand? And Jasmine goes, yeah, what's going on? And Sean says,
just take over the reunion from Sean.
I love it. And Sean says, sounds like we have a lot to discuss later. Moving on. Hi, Ashley.
I hate this. I hate these awkward intros. And it's like, well, we're going to talk about that later.
Yeah, she's got to get through.
Are you guys still together? But why not just say hi? hi, and then like really dive in. Why ask these deep questions at the beginning? Like, are you guys still together? Ooh, sounds like there's going to be a lot to talk about later. Like,
Yeah.
just say hi, how's the weather? That's it.
She sticks with her format.
I
She
know.
doesn't veer. So, hi, Ashley and Manuel. What did the tarot card say about today? And she goes, do you want me to consult the cards to see how it will go? I happen to have them right here. She pulls them out. She lays the cards down and she says, ooh, this one means anything done in the dark will come to light. So if anyone is hiding anything, it's going to come through quickly.
That's the whole point of a tell-all.
And that's really, really wow, like super deep. And then she says, and the happiness card is upside down. So someone will leave unhappy.
That is true in every situation in life.
That's just like,
Someone will be unhappy and someone will be happy.
Ridiculous. So hi to Clayton and Annalie. How are you guys doing? They recently moved to Tulsa, Oklahoma. And yes, Closet Mom came with them.
But is she living? They just said she's living in that city. Is she living with them?
They didn't say. We'll find out.
Yeah.
But I bet so. And maybe they got her own bedroom because Annalie is like,
yeah, she does.
Gino and Jasmine, you finally tied the knot. Now, Jasmine, I'm a Michigan girl. Those winters are awful. How are you doing? And she goes, I'm adjusting. It's beautiful. And no one can talk shit about Michigan anymore because I'm a Michigan girl. And this just makes me appreciate summer.
I thought that was very cute. She's trying to apologize for calling it Bitchigan.
She said it's the most depressing place on earth.
Yeah.
It's hell. People were not meant to live in Michigan. And when she's slamming Gino, she says he's just a depressing man from Michigan.
Yeah.
So maybe too little too late to apologize to the people of that great state.
She's maybe the house is getting egged by the neighbors. She's just like, look how great I said Michigan is.
So hi, Devin and Nick. How's married life? Married life's going well. It's been good. Everything's fine with her family. Hi, Sam and Citra. Well, Sean, I'm a horny freak, and so we're going to have a baby. That's what he said. I'm a horny freak, and so we're having a baby.
Imagine being their child watching this.
Are they going to live in Dad's house? Are they all going to live in that room off the garage?
Is her sister there? Like, do they could just get one, like Sweet Valley High? Like they could just marry brothers and and then just live. Yeah. I don't think that's what happened on Sweet Valley High, but like, you know what I'm saying? And then double date, double marry, live in a house together.
Yeah. I think because we saw Brother Tim's bedroom had like a single bed from when he was 7 years old with like baseball sheets.
And the dad is all hunting aliens in the backyard. I think it'd be a fun house to live in.
I think it's a reality show
for like a weekend. Then I feel like I would not want to live there. I don't feel like it's very clean.
Do you think they're going to ask Sam about his teeth?
Sometimes they do things like that on these reunions that are shocking. And you're like, I can't believe you're bringing this up. That is for us podcasters to talk about behind people's backs. It's not for you, Sean, to talk about right to their faces.
Right.
It's possible. It's possible someone like Justigor will bring it up, like not thinking that that's rude. Because he's like, in Moldova, we just ask questions. We don't think that you talk about things like that. Or like Devin and Nick will be like, what? We call people fat. We say, where's your teeth? It's fine.
I have to tell you that for the Love is Blind recap that will come out on Prime tomorrow, Wednesday, Keisha said to me, like, we're not going to mention it. And I was like, what? And she mentioned somebody that's like a side character that comes on the wedding episodes. And she goes, are we not going to mention their teeth? I was like, what?
Oh,
she's like, well, the one person had no bottom teeth and the other person had like a very big brown tooth. I was like, what? I was like, how did I not notice this? She was like, she's like, you're slipping or you're getting nicer. I was like, I must be getting nicer.
Yeah, it's me. I'm making you nicer.
You're not fooling all the people all the time.
No,
I don't know
not.
what you're thinking.
No, I'm not.
So, okay, let's get started. Sophie and Rob, let's start with you. How's married life? He says that right after they got married and got done filming, they moved to Austin, Texas.
I think that's a great choice.
I think that's a great place for them. It's still a little like offbeat and weird, but not
I'm sure
LA.
there are influencers in Austin.
Yeah, of course there are. And yes, in their new apartment, they do have a bathroom inside. And Justigor says he thinks that the bathroom outside is a positive. You take shit away from house. Okay, gross.
Did you see how uncomfortable Ashley got talking about poop? I was like, bitch, you had sex in a cafe bathroom where other people poop, where they change their baby's diapers. You had
That's right.
sex in there, but you're
Right.
uncomfortable talking about this. Okay.
Yeah, that's right. So they talk about the apartment for a minute, and then Sean says, let's move on to a rough topic. So, Rob, you online cheated more than once. Let's take a look. And they show the clip package of the whatever he found out about the online cheating. And he says he was never looking for anyone else. It was never anything like that. But what he did was he responded when people sent him videos. And he said, but the worst thing I did was, like I said, send more. And she goes, excuse me, let's not downplay it. You would say, you're so sexy, you're so hot, please send more. And he
I
goes,
don't believe he didn't send back videos of him pleasuring himself.
well, she didn't see them if they were there.
I feel like she mentioned it. Maybe it was the first time he did it. I feel like she mentioned it on the show. Maybe a bunkie can help me out.
Okay.
It
and
was
that now they're
implied.
brushing it off?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay. He says he never saw any of these people in person. He doesn't even remember their names. Like it was just somebody that sent him something. And Justigor says, so he received videos from strangers when Sophie wasn't around. Girls, what can we do when we are home and you are there? Masturbating is the best. It is not cheating. It's like a virtual game, like a video game with VR glasses, just words. And I understand why a woman buy a lot of cats and then play with the cats.
I can't.
What?
I see he's making fun of cat ladies.
Is that what he's doing? He's making fun of cat ladies?
Yeah, I think so, because that's what they do, whereas men just masturbate.
Okay, so women, when they're sexually frustrated, buy cats.
Yeah, I think that's what he thinks.
And men masturbate like a VR game.
Right. Like those aren't real women that he's responding to. Right.
Okay. All right. And I just wrote, what the fuck is he talking about? I mean, that's not all caps. What the fuck is he talking about? Like, what that? I was like, is he trying to use cat as a euphemism, or is he really saying like,
no, I think
ladies buy cats?
Yeah. He has no respect for women. Let's be real.
Okay. You're right.
So
totally right.
That's what he's doing.
Yeah. So Gino says to Rob, but like, has it ever happened other times beside that incident? And he just gets quiet. Nikki goes, you should answer the question. And he says, no, once her visa was accepted, everything stopped. And Sophie goes, now, I check his phone all the time and I never wanted to be that person, but I don't think he'll do that to me again because I could check his phone at any time. I was like, well, that should, okay.
So he's not doing it because he doesn't want to. He's not doing it because he's scared he'll get caught.
Right.
That's great.
Right.
No, everyone is defending him. Like all the men are defending him. And it's so insane.
It's
Even
very
if
strange.
you don't think it's cheating, she thinks it's cheating.
Right.
And 2 years ago when you did it, she told you this is cheating. I will break up with you if you do it again. And he did it again.
And he did it again. And also, he doesn't cover his tracks very well by deleting shit off his phone.
Exactly.
It's not hard.
Dumb.
To delete it.
He's lazy.
So now we see Claire, Sophie's mom. And, we see them, have this argument about money. And he, also says like he's confrontational, but they bring it out of him, like all, playing back all this footage. And Sean says, but has the dust settled now between Claire and Rob? And she says, no, my opinion has not gotten better or changed. When Sophie arrived, he had not even cleaned the place, and he should have waited to bring her over when he was able and he was more stable. And Sophie says that she agrees with some of that because she has completely moved to another country for him and moved her whole life. And Rob goes, it doesn't matter. You're never going to take my side over your mom. And, and you're both wrong, by the way, because you knew my situation. You knew I was trying to get out of the apartment. And then Sophie says, if you had a daughter, would you want her to live where I was living? And he doesn't really have an answer for that.
Mm-hmm.
Then mom says, Soph was working 3 jobs in England and paying for the visa, and he was at home playing on his gaming console with no job and not getting ready for her to come. And
So
he
she
goes,
paid for the whole visa herself?
she paid for the visa herself. And he goes, that's not true. I've never not had a job. And he goes, and I don't understand. How was Sophie working 3 jobs in England when she lived in Mexico for a year? He said, because I live there too.
Well, the mom said the 3 months, for like 3 months in England, she saved up and worked 3 jobs.
And then Claire says something about paying their rent in Mexico. And Rob looks at Sophie and goes, she's saying she paid our rent in Mexico like she's lying. And Sophie just kind of nods. He says, her opinion is inaccurate, and she's the epitome of the pot calling the kettle black with the guys that she allows into her life and
Oh
never
my God.
having a job. And she should respect me like I'm supposed to respect her. Interesting. Like, why is she living in Mexico? We still don't know.
Yeah. No, I think the mom is a hot mess, and unfortunately, it's negating from her opinions. If
Mm-hmm.
she was like a perfect mom,
Yeah.
it's like an SVU when they have a victim who's like an imperfect victim, and then
Mm-hmm.
people start to not really believe them because they've
Right.
like lied about things, or like they're kind of a hot mess, and it's like she's an imperfect witness here, and because of that, people start to take Rob's side. And it's like, no. If she was just explaining this without having a temper and having her facts all correct, you would be like, yeah, that's right. He was playing video games, not
Yeah.
saving up money here, and didn't clean up the place and didn't get a new, apartment. Also, he treats Sophie like crap. He's the way he speaks to her. That's the big issue, is he's disrespectful and
Yeah.
makes her feel bad about herself. And
Yeah.
no one would want their daughter to live in that place
No.
if it was possible to get a better place if
Yeah.
you just got a job.
Yeah. And Rob's like, I don't
I
talk
feel like
shit.
I'm in the Twilight Zone
Well, because we
when
just say the same things over and over.
when they all start to defend Rob. And
Yeah.
it's like, it's like when everyone has a pig face and I don't have a pig face. And then it's like, where
How
am I?
dare you? How dare you call me piggy?
No, you.
Um, so Rob says, I don't talk shit about Claire like she does to me. And your mom doesn't acknowledge the things that I've done to help. And Sophie goes, I just want you guys to respect each other. And Rob goes, she just called me Rob the Knob. And that's mad disrespectful of your son-in-law. Do I regularly disrespect her? And Sophie and Claire both go, yeah.
Yeah.
And Sam says, well, she really attacked his character and called him boring. And Claire goes, yeah, okay, the name calling is wrong. I shouldn't do that. I shouldn't do name calling. But I would love to him to prove me wrong. But I worry for my daughter's sanity being around him. And Ashley says they obviously just trigger each other. And Clayton goes, yeah, like he was calm. He only started yelling once she came on. And Claire says she still believes that he's not the right man for Sophie, but it's the way he treats her.
Mm.
And Sean says, Claire, we're so glad you could be here. Rob and Sophie, we wish you the best. Time for lunch. That's it. So Rob says it's not a question between him and Claire because Sophie is always going to pick her mom. It's always going to be Sophie and Claire against him.
I get how that would be very frustrating.
I think that would be very frustrating too. If like you really can't see, like your mom brings these terrible dudes into your life and she never has a job either. And now she's mad because I don't make as much money as she thinks I should or whatever.
Yeah. There's like 2 views of marriage here. Like, are you supposed to support your partner always, even if they're wrong? Like, if you're at a party and your partner says something stupid, are you supposed to like back them up? Or are you supposed to be like, no, that was wrong?
Yeah, right.
Or are you supposed to, just tell them the truth? And Sophie's like, no, I'm going to tell them the truth.
Yeah.
But everyone else there is like, no, you have your partner's back 100%, even if they're wrong.
In public,
in front of other people.
Mm-hmm. So they asked Sophie how she feels, after their session or their section or whatever. And she says, I'm always going to protect my mom. And if Rob would treat me good, then my mom would like him. And they all go, what do you mean by that? And she goes, I just mean that I left everything behind and I wish, he would work to make me feel more comfortable. And I've told him, like, if he doesn't change, I'll get tired and I'll just move on from it. I was like, you're married. It's not like a boyfriend, know?
Also, how are you not tired of this before you got married?
Right. And so he walks in and says, I love how supportive you are of your mom. It's amazing. And I just wish my wife would say, yeah, the 90 days were rough, but Rob has showed me in so many ways. He definitely works hard. And that's where you're like, thank you, Rob, for being solid and holding me down and getting us to something better. And she doesn't support me. She doesn't support me at all. And he says, your mom says, I did nothing for you. Do you agree? And she goes, I think what my mom was trying to say is you had 2 years to find a different spot. And she just wanted me to be in a better place when I arrived. And it felt like I did everything. And then I arrived to a place where I don't feel safe. And so I think the point is maybe you should have waited to bring me. And he says, but with the whole K-1 visa process, we'd be throwing it away and saying we won't be together because we'd have to start over. So I think that, what we hear is like, once you get it, you have a certain window to use it. And then if not, you have to start over.
Exactly. And you can only do it twice, which we learned from Nikki and Justigor.
Right.
Yeah.
So she looks sad. Ashley says, in Rob's defense, you get here and you shit on it, his place, and then your mom shits on it. And then he feels undervalued. And then Devin says, as a spouse, you should be their biggest advocate and support them. And you can talk to them about a problem behind closed doors privately if there's an issue. And he says, I'm not asking you to kiss my ass because I have a job and pay the bills, but I would like you to just appreciate me because you don't have to work right now. Which is interesting that he is working and paying all their bills and they have a decent apartment and they live in Austin. So she should be like, yeah, he's come really far. I'm really proud of him.
Right. They're still hung up on Room, and Room was traumatizing for them.
Right.
The duvet fight was traumatizing.
Right.
And so maybe it's time to let it go and say, yeah, he's really stepped up lately.
Yeah. Like things have changed for the better.
Yeah.
I give him credit for that. Yeah. So, Jasmine says, I feel like the foreign person has to live in an eternal state of gratitude. And Ashley says, no, I don't think that's what he's saying. And Nikki says, he just wants to be appreciated. And Rob says, yeah, just like regular appreciation, like nothing crazy. And so Sophie says, it's a bare right to have a house and I can provide it for myself, but not in America. I can't. And so I still want you to take me on dates and make me feel welcome here. And he says, but you've never been grateful. And she says, well, you do all these half-truths all the time to make me look bad. So
when did you take her on dates?
I don't know, but I also think we're going to see them on HEA. So gird your loins.
I know. So. I'm not happy. And then that means that we won't see his hot friends because they live in Austin.
Oh, maybe he has some hot friends in Austin.
Yeah. I need some people of reason that are calling them on things.
And then we could do a talking head with both of them. And he says, I did what I had to do to get us to a better apartment and I got a better job. And how easy would it be for Sophie to just say, I know that it matters to him to try to make me happy and that he's trying. And she says, I will try to support you more in general and with my mom. And we need to have better communication. And I think that somebody else on the panel says something like, at some point you do have to be with your spouse and not always side with your parent.
Yeah, I agree.
And I agree with that too. This podcast is sponsored by Little Spoon. Let Little Spoon eliminate mealtime drama for you and your family. Look, we're all a fan of reality TV drama, right? Like Amy and Johnny, if they're going to have kids in a couple of years, well, Little Spoon will be great for them because Johnny is really trying to save money. Little Spoon has healthy meals and snacks that your kid will love for every eating stage. They have the little baby blends. They have the biteables, which is transitioning, to the finger food. They've got the plates for your big kids. Oh, the smoothies, the lunchers, the snacks. My little nephew, James, tried all of these things. He loved the chicken dunkers. He loved this purple carrot acai bowl. Yeah. And a smoothie. You guys, it's just a wide variety of junk-free, better-for-you alternatives for your kids. Like I said, sweet baby James tried these things and was a fan. He loves the dunkers. Okay. Also, I got to mention, it comes right to your door. It's so flexible, so easy. You can change it up every week. It comes to your door. You pop it in the fridge. You pop it in the freezer. And then when your kids needs a snack or if it's that witching hour and you've really got to make a meal fast, Boom, you pull it right out. So simplify your kiddos' mealtime with 30% off your first order. You're going to go to littlespoon.com/pinkshade, enter our code pinkshade at checkout to get 30% off your first Little Spoon order. Again, that is littlespoon.com/pinkshade, enter code pinkshade. You're going to get 30% off your first Little Spoon order. Do it. You guys, you know I love my meal kits. Being able to have a delicious meal without the long prep and cook time is what drew me to Home Chef over the other guys. Their meals are effortless, even for somebody like me. I'm not making it to Top Chef anytime soon. My kitchen's more like Hell's Kitchen. I'm always trying to get everybody fed. People are running in and out on different schedules, and I'm trying to make sure everybody has a healthy meal once a day. Home Chef provides fresh ingredients and chef-designed recipes conveniently delivered to your door. It comes in that refrigerated box. You throw it right in the fridge, and then when you're ready, you pull it out and make it. I prefer the classic meal kits where they bring you the pre-portioned ingredients and the easy instructions. That's what I like, but they also have these speedy recipes that are ready in less than 30 minutes. They have oven-ready kits. You just pop it in the oven, and then it's ready. They've got you covered no matter what you like to do. They have over 30 options a week, and they serve a variety of dietary needs. So you don't have to worry what to make ahead of time and, is it going to fit with what I'm trying to do? Not only is it convenient, it's economical too. Home Chef customers will save an average of $86 a month. You guys, that's a lot of money. So for a limited time, Home Chef is offering my listeners 18 free meals plus free shipping on your first box and free dessert for life. What? That's homechef.com/pinkshade. You guys, free dessert for life? Homechef.com/pinkshade for 18 free meals and free dessert for life. Okay? Homechef.com/pinkshade. You must be an active subscriber to receive the free dessert. Do it and let me know what you ordered. Let's move on to Ashley and Manuel.
He is really sticking with that haircut. It's longer now and even more parted in the middle.
Yes, he is, and it's very little Lord Fauntleroy, or or like the Buster Brown, or like the Cracker Jack box. Yeah. I just even think on the side it would be better, don't you?
Absolutely.
On the side, yeah. So, okay. So Sean says, do you think that storm during your wedding foreshadowed anything in your marriage? And she goes, no, it was a good thing. I think the storm was a good thing. The card said so. Mother Earth said so.
That's why you were freaking out, screaming.
That's why I am ugly, crying.
I'm literally having a panic attack.
I'm literally crying.
Like rain.
They're getting to know each other now in a deeper way. And Annalie asked him in Spanish, she asked him, do you let her do those smoking things on you? And he says, yeah, for him, I can see, she says she's a witch, but what I can see is she only does good. So I don't know what the connotation of the word witch is. And everybody has their own individual beliefs, and it's fine. And everything she does is for positive energy. So sure, I'll do it sometimes. Fine.
They were made to believe that was going to be their big conflict of the season.
He didn't give a shit.
He didn't care.
He didn't care. And then, of course, Sam goes is there any witchy stuff going on in the bedroom? Sam needs to just take 4 steps back and just, he's got a problem.
I know. Or he's trying to go for a persona. I'm the horny guy on 90 Day.
Right.
Trying to get on happily.
But we don't want to picture it.
No.
So now they talk about sex magic and covering a penis candle in semen and burning it with some herbs. And they're like, Manuel, do you do that? And he's like, no, I don't want to talk about private things. No, I don't want to. No. And then Justigor tries to make a dumb nightlight joke about the penis candle. And then they all kind of look, and Nikki goes, don't ask him anything. He has no brain cells. And she's not wrong.
No.
So then we see the sex in the bathroom coffee shop, right? So they are watching this. You remember when they go to these tell-alls, they haven't seen the whole season.
Yeah.
So they haven't, they lived it, but they haven't. So definitely none of the other cast members have seen it. So
I don't know. That happened a while ago, didn't it?
But when they film the reunion, the season is not even halfway through. So they don't give them all the episodes.
Yeah.
So they have not seen
that hadn't aired yet, but yeah, maybe you're right.
It's
Everyone
super
was shocked.
uncomfortable. Everybody is shocked and looking away and like, oh my God, because it's just dead quiet and we're having to hear the, yeah, all that stuff. It's crazy. Okay. What's the face?
I don't want to, I can't.
Okay. All right.
That poor Cafe Fuego, whatever that cafe was called. At least they didn't say the name on the tell-all.
I was trying to remember. Is it Cafe Fuego? Was it Cafe Nitro? It was something like that.
It was something like that. Yeah, something fire or hell or something like that.
Something with fire, yeah. So Manuel says, well, there are many ways to fix problems, and this is just one way that we found. And so Sean's like, has anybody else done that? Like use sex to get over a fight? And Rob's like, oh, have anyone ever done that? Meaning, have you ever had sex in a public bathroom?
Right.
And Rob goes, I have. I mean, not with Sophie. And she goes, why not? And he goes, okay, let's go. And she's like, ew, no.
Yeah, exactly.
And then Sean says, what do you think about using sex to work out your issues? And Sam's like, I'm all for it. I'm the horny guy. Remember?
It's like he's doing a stand-up special.
Yeah.
That's his shtick is that he's horny.
And Annalie looks disgusted. Annalie looks like she's got that I've smelled something bad face. Yeah. She looks disgusted. And
she didn't even want to have sex with Clayton in a beautiful house.
No.
Rental.
No. And Jasmine says, listen, it's not the ideal way to resolve it, but maybe that works for them. So we're going to bring out Ashley's mom and sister, Stacy and Sienna.
Oh, I love them.
I love them too. So they come out, and so Sean asks the mom, Stacy, do you trust Manuel? And she says, no. And Ashley goes, Mom. And she goes, it's because he left his kids and he didn't tell them he was leaving. And when I found that out, I was like, what kind of man would do that? Like, if the two of you have a kid, is he just going to leave? Is he just going to leave the kid and Ashley? And that's valid.
Yeah.
That's valid. And Jasmine says, okay, so you don't trust Manuel, but you want them to have a kid? And she goes, no, I don't trust him. And I don't want them to have a kid now that I know this. And all they do is argue and have sex.
Wow.
And Sienna agrees and says, Manuel came here on a lie. He was lying to his mother and to his children. So what is he telling Ashley?
Right.
And Ashley says, okay, so he wasn't directly honest when he was coming. And they all go, that means lie.
Mm-hmm.
And she goes, when they got approved, instead of having the 6 months from the time of approval, they had only 2 weeks because the embassy made a mistake and there was political unrest and they weren't even sure if he could get out of Ecuador.
Wow.
So Stacy says, that's not true. He left the children and said, I'm going to find work. And he didn't actually say he was moving to America. Don't make excuses for him. He should have said goodbye to his children and to his mother. Yeah. It wasn't a little lie. It was a huge lie.
Yes, absolutely.
So I guess when he left, like normally he would be like, okay, I'm going to another part of the country to find work. I'll be back in a few months.
Right.
And that's what he said. But he knew he was getting on an airplane to come to America.
Exactly.
Forever.
Exactly.
And so Gina's like, wow, that's really bad. Manuel says his kids knew he was going to the U.S. at some time, but they didn't know when. Sophie speaks to him in Spanish, which I loved.
Good for
Remember, she grew up in Spain.
I forgot that.
Yeah. Sophie speaks to him in Spanish and says, you couldn't make a video call to them or something to tell them. And he says, here's the thing. I talk to them once a week. I text them and then they respond. So when I text them, their mom had their phone, so they didn't see the text. So imagine how I feel. And Sierra says, well, there are times when I don't trust him and I worry that he won't be the best husband that my sister deserves. My sister is a beautiful person and people have come into her life and deceived her and made her feel bad about herself. And she deserves the best. She doesn't deserve that. We want her to be with someone who's truthful. And
let's be real. I want to stop comforting her when she's having a panic attack.
We do. We saw it at least 12 times.
Can't do it anymore.
And we see some examples of him not being truthful. And mom says, and then we'll be there to pick up the pieces, which we will be. But that's what we foresee happening. So then we see him, he says to the friends, he says, you can never completely know someone. Everyone has secrets. And then we see him telling the therapist that his private life is private. He didn't need to share it with Ashley.
He's married. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Is this a cultural difference? with men in Ecuador?
Maybe.
They just don't feel like the wife needs to know things.
I guess. But Sierra and Stacey, when he says his private life is private, Sierra and Stacey both go, red flag. Sean asks, do you understand why Ashley would think that you're hiding things and not being honest? And he says, look, I have financial issues and I have to send money to my kids. And when I talk to Ashley, she's going to get more overwhelmed and more stressed. And I don't want that. So I just tell her it's a private issue. And Ashley says, but I always knew he had kids and I always knew we'd have to send money, but we've never had a conversation about who we need to help and when and how much. And even now, I don't even know, and it's frustrating. And Mom says, but Ashley, you need to take responsibility for this too. Because she says, because y'all having sex all that time.
Yes. Why weren't you talking?
Why can't you talk about stuff? Like, you can't only blame him. And then Mom goes, listen, I don't want to be mean, but the money issue is also my issue because Ashley's the one making money and she struggles to support both of them. So sometimes if they have to send money home, she'll ask me. And I don't want to like speak out of school if he doesn't know it, but I'll send the money. And if not, Manuel will scream at her, which he does.
Yeah, that's insane. That's mama is having to send money to his family.
That's the first we've heard that he's like screams at her.
Yeah.
When we've seen her scream at him.
Mm-hmm.
And we send him be like, why do you have 12 coffee cups?
He's usually very chill and he usually walks away when there's a fight.
Waits in the bathroom.
Right.
So Ashley says, yes, that is true. Not on a regular basis, but yes, my mom has helped us. And Manuel says, I know that. Mama has done us a huge favor. And she says, it's not about the money. It's about you treating my daughter well. We could send hundreds of dollars to your family. But if I bring my daughter coffee, you say, oh, you're so spoiled.
Right.
And he says, okay, mama, yes, in the beginning, I would get upset because we have a coffee maker at home. I'm used to a different culture. Where I come from, we always struggled. I was the eldest of the 4 children. And at 13 years old, I started to work to help out my mother. And it was very difficult. So Jasmine explains that she understands this because they grew up in real poverty. Not, I guess she's trying to say Americans don't know real poverty, if you go to these other countries. And she says, sometimes
Americans do.
Some Americans do, obviously.
Yeah.
And she says, sometimes just eating was a privilege. And the way his brain is wired was there was always a lack of something in his house. So now he feels guilty.
Right.
And you have to see it with your own eyes to understand how somebody like that grew up. And I think that's where he comes from. And that's his reality. So Mom's
Voice of reason, Jasmine.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. So Mom says she really appreciates Jasmine explaining that because that's a very different perspective that she hadn't thought of. And so Rob says to Manuel, like, if you want Ashley to help out and understand, you gotta bring her all the way in and you got to be open with her. And Manuel,
Rob is the voice of reason now.
I loved Rob at the reunion.
Twilight
other than his outfit. And Manuel says, I don't want to be too much of a bother. And Mom says, no. And she holds his hand and they both tear up and they say, like, you don't have to struggle alone. We're here for you. You're in our family. Then they all hug and kiss like kumbaya.
I mean, they are nice people. They would happily help his family out if they were just made to feel like they were part of the family. Or
not just like, I need $200 tomorrow.
And then scream and just, Exactly.
Like, budget it out every month. We're going to need to send them this amount of money.
And Ashley will happily send it. She just wants the kids to know who she is and not be hidden from the family.
Right. So backstage, Stacey and Sierra say they feel better and they need to
Did you notice Rob's dig, though? He goes, Manuel, you're very lucky to have them as in-laws.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's like, look at my bitch of a in-law.
Look at the shit I'm dealing with. Yeah. So, okay, so they say backstage, Stacey and Sierra say they feel better, but they need to make sure he feels really safe. And Mom says, but I'm still looking with one eye open.
Yeah.
And that's when Rob tells Manuel, you're lucky to have that family. And Manuel says, how can you not love that lady? She's a peach.
So cute.
Okay, now we get these like viewer questions.
I'm okay with happily now. Like now I feel okay that they're going to be on happily.
Rob and Sophie?
No, Manuel and Ashley.
Oh,
but like I still... It's going to go back to the same old fighting and effing. I know it is. But at this moment, I was like, okay, I can handle happily maybe with them.
Okay, well, you don't have a choice because it's coming.
I know.
So then we get these viewer questions and like viewer videos. And a viewer writes in,
This was very weird. Like, watch what happens live.
yeah, it bring back Tim and Andre and Kalani and I mean that was better.
Yeah.
They're trying to mix it up and also make Sean Robinson's job 25 times more easier than it always was the easiest job on television.
Yeah.
So a viewer writes in and says to Sophie, how can you turn off the bi part of your brain and just not be attracted to women? And she had a great answer. She goes, it's the same way, like I'm not attracted to other men, because if you're in love and loyal to someone, you aren't interested in anyone. It doesn't matter if you're bi or straight or, whatever. Like,
yeah.
She had a great answer. She was like, what a stupid question.
But I don't think that's the problem. I think the problem is she's never explored that part. And then it would be like if someone gets married at 40 and they're a virgin, they might feel like they've missed out on some things and they might want to explore outside the marriage.
Let's remember that Sophie's 23.
Exactly. And she has her whole life to explore and figure out who she is.
Yeah.
But she's instead spending it with Rob.
Yeah. They're not going to be married forever. Let's just start a marriage. Okay. So now we have a video caller. This is a couple with a baby from England.
I thought that baby was a doll. It was it was like so still. Like,
and the husband was so close to the camera and the wife was so back. And
it was like a hostage video. And they had like a plain white background and the lighting was all bad. And I was like, are you being forced to do this?
Well, when you do Watch What Happens Live and stuff, they make you do a plain background.
Yes, that makes sense.
Yeah, because they want you like I can't do this.
Yeah,
like you can't do wallpaper, you can't do anything. It has to be a plain. When my sister and I did it, we were going to sit like in front of her fireplace, and there's a piece of art that she painted. She is the artist.
Yeah,
and they were like, no. So I had to turn our chairs to look like hostages on a plain white wall.
You didn't look like hostages though. You guys look great.
I'm on standby to be a caller on Thursdays. Watch What Happens Live.
Amazing. You're like a regular.
I know. They sent me an email like, you want to do it? Can you be on standby? I was like, sure.
That's great. And then they give you the question?
And they give you the question. So you go, hey, Andy, you look great. Kelly Ripa, when you and Mark decided to have 3 children, could you ever have imagined, whatever the question's going to be?
Yeah.
Okay, we've already talked about the bi part of your brain. Now we have the hostage video, the video with the couple from the baby from England. They asked Clayton if he ate guinea pig while he was in Peru. How rude.
Why are we wasting our time?
I don't know.
This is
filler.
It's stupid filler.
It's filler. And Clayton says, no. And Annalie goes, of course, he's never going to do that. And Ashley says, I had a guinea pig when I was growing up named Rosie. And it's also a delicacy in Ecuador. And I tried it one time, but I kept thinking about Rosie. And it was okay, but it wasn't worth it.
Great story, Ashley.
Thanks. Great. Thanks, Ashley. And Rob asked Annalie if she ever looks at the guinea pig and thinks, I would love to throw those on the stove. And she says no, but she has eaten it and it is delicious. And somebody goes, his guinea pigs?
Oh my God.
Everybody, this is ridiculous. Stop.
Why are we doing this?
Then Sean reads a viewer question. Anybody in the 90-day universe you could have a kid with, who would it be? And Jasmine and Nikki start talking about how they would have a baby together. And Jasmine said she's been with women before. And if she dated Nikki, she would lick her P word because he doesn't want to F her. I mean, and Nikki's like, okay. And then Gina goes, I'll watch.
Oh my God.
And then Rob says, listen, I'd have a kid with Gino. He's got a great hat and he's a nice guy. Sam says, I'd just like to say, I'm horny. That's my brand. And I'd be fine with any lady in the room. Okay.
Great.
Sean Robinson's like, don't look at me like that, Sam.
Yeah.
Avert your eyes.
Yeah. Why are we doing this? Are we just trying to start problems?
I mean,
who else do you want to fuck here? Let's all.
It's like on the Housewives. It's like on the Housewives.
Have had cheating issues. So why are we talking about this?
It's like on the Housewives. Let's play a game. Who do we hate the most at the table
on this desert island thing?
Who do you hate?
Yeah.
On Salt Lake City. Who would you throw off your wagon?
Yes.
Sophie says her girl crush is Yara. And I got to agree, Yara is so funny on Instagram
I love
that I would love to. She's just so funny on Instagram, y'all.
Also, okay, so she's had major plastic surgery or some looks since she started on TV, or like the photos from when she originally, it's shocking. Like she looks like a completely different person.
From when Yara first was on 90 Day? Or
No,
from when she
from
was
way
back in her
before that.
when she was back in Ukraine. Okay.
Yes. It's shocking. It really looks like a totally different person. But
Yeah, she had
since
a nose
then,
job.
I feel like she's maybe changed a little, but not terrible. But after this, she was like on Pillow Talk. She's on Pillow Talk sometimes.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, who is that? What happened to her face? And I didn't notice. I didn't know what they were talking about.
No, I think she
She's
looks the
gotten like
same.
maybe a little work done, but I think she still looks amazing. And
Yeah. Still want Joby to get braces. That's my only concern. It's just
oh, that would change like his whole jaw shape.
yes. Yeah. Yeah. You got money. Do it. Okay. So Justigor says he would choose Jasmine to show her how good are the Russian guys. And Jasmine goes, I pass.
Did she ever say that Russian guys weren't good?
Probably because she's like, oh, if I was with Nikki, I would lick her P word and F her because he won't.
Yeah. I'm a man. I'll show her what being with a real man is like.
I'm from Moldova.
And she just hates him. I'll pass. Yeah,
I hate him too.
Yeah, we all hate him.
So, let's move on to Gino and Jasmine. You guys, we followed you guys for years, and here you are. Congratulations on your marriage. How's it going? Jasmine says they're a work in progress, and Gino says it's a roller coaster, but it's good. And then we talk about, Sean says, Gino, for your wedding photo, Jasmine asked you to remove your hat. And he goes, yeah, I did. I did it. It just squeaks.
I know. He's a squeaker.
Yeah. And he says, yeah, it was hard for me, but I did it for Jasmine. I knew it was important to her. And she's like, I really appreciate that. I really wanted to get like a picture of the real you. And then they talk about the $4,000 that he sent her for the wedding dress that she spent on the butt implants. So from my understanding, he sent her $4,000. She got $2,000 from Dan. So she only spent $4,000 of her own money and $6,000 were in donations.
Yeah, I thought there was like a 10 or an 8 in there somewhere.
It's a $10,000 procedure. He gave her 4. Dan gave her 2.
Okay.
That leaves her with 4 to come up with on her own.
Okay.
Maybe she got it from OnlyFans. I don't know.
Yeah.
And she goes, can I tell you something, Sean? My wedding dress is in a bag in the basement collecting dust. Where is my ass right now? Ass is forever. I only regret not getting it bigger.
I mean, that's valid.
Okay.
She's
She's got a great point.
No, I think people spend too much on their weddings anyway.
Where is my ass right now?
Right. It's sitting right.
It's right here behind me.
But like Sam is casting dispersions, like he didn't hide the fact that he was maybe going to go to prison.
I mean, Sam just said he'd be fine to do it with any lady in the room.
Right.
Okay.
But he's like, oh my God, I would kill her if she did that.
Matter of fact, didn't Sam originally say one of the things that he loved about Citra was her fat ass?
He loves a fat.
He loves a fat ass.
Well, he's horny for anything.
He's just horny to stick it in any hole, anytime.
Yeah.
So Gina goes, I wouldn't mind if she got it bigger. And Jasmine goes, next time I go to the doctor, I take a picture of Sophie's butt and I say to doctor, I want it like Sophie's butt. And she just like, And
that's I can't. Sophie has a curvy frame.
Yes, she does.
That makes that butt look natural on her, which I think it is. Jasmine is again working. Jasmine and Nikki are both trying for these proportions that are so unnatural that
stick thin with the giant boobs and the big
butt that are
ruining
the self-esteem of women and girls everywhere because they're trying to look like Barbies who literally couldn't even stand up because their proportions are so out of whack.
As we saw in the Barbie movie.
Exactly.
Yeah. So,
but fine, whatever she wants to do. It's her body.
They talk about the $10,000 and Sam's like, $5,000? Like for each cheek? And Devin's like, no, hell no. And Nikki goes, oh my God, I love it. We got them at the same time. I got double the size, obviously. They talk about done paying $2,000 towards the surgery. And Gino says, yeah, he's forgiven her for that, but he's heard about it, but he's forgiven her. And Sam goes, I just want to know, like, what is Dan getting out of it? And Jasmine says, of course, someone like you, Sam, would think that.
Yeah, because you're horny.
But yes, I did have past with him, but this guy, he's not into me. He has someone in his life that he loves, and he has strong values and morals.
And all of our hearts broke forever that Dan is taken.
I want to see this woman.
She must be gorgeous. They must be the most beautiful couple ever. Like they should be models.
Imagine what she thinks about this.
Ads.
Jasmine
yeah,
situation.
That's true.
Oh.
Yeah.
Gina goes, yeah, but he's still your ex no matter what. And Rob goes, yeah, you act like there's nothing there, but like I've seen you get mad at Gino and say like, oh, I wish I would have had sex with Dan, and my sex with Dan was so good. And you say some hurtful things.
Another solid point from Rob.
Check off that box. Mm-hmm. Rob is winning us back. He's winning back the hearts of America.
Absolutely not. No.
He is winning my heart.
Okay, not me. No.
Also a sucker for his good looks.
He is very good looking, but no. I won't forget Room. I won't forget the elevator at LAX. Okay. I can never forget.
I know. So Jasmine says, okay, I have the anger management issues. Like, I know it. And Gina goes, yeah. And sometimes those angry words do affect our intimacy or, me wanting to be intimate with her. And she says, I always regret it. And I regret the words that I say when I'm angry, and I wish I could take it back. And Sean says, Jasmine, you said your biggest regret is not having sex with Dane before you left Panama. And Jasmine goes, well, okay, so Gino, he always says these things about his exes as being better than me and that he could always have sex with them. And Gino goes, okay. She starts it and says these hurtful things, and I say something back.
As Mary Payne has pointed out many times, he is I know you are, but what am I?
Yes.
Playground copycat insulter.
Yes. Oh, your mom is fat. Well, your mom is fatter. Ew.
You want to sleep with your ex? I also want to sleep with my ex.
Yeah. Right back at you, babe.
Yeah.
So Sean says, but Gino, is any of that partly true? Was sex with your ex easier than it is with Jasmine? There's a long pause. They're like, oh, you're pausing it too long, bro. And he says, not really, no. He says, but our sex life is affected by the hurtful things that she says when she gets mad. She goes, yes, Gino, but you trigger me. So we see the whole lip gloss thing. And when she is leaning on the window with her mouth wide open going, about the lip gloss. And we hear her going, you are ridiculous. You are a crazy person. Yeah. And everybody on those couches are like, what are we seeing?
Yeah.
They could, with her on her head on the windowsill, with her mouth open. And the clip ends. Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah, she looks like she's possessed.
And the clip ends and Sean says, well, that was an extreme reaction to finding that lip gloss. Jasmine, what made you so upset? And she goes, Sean, it was fresh lip gloss. I opened it. That is what triggered me, Sean. It was a fresh lip gloss.
I love how Jasmine says everyone's name that she's talking to. Well, Rob, blah, blah, blah. Sophie, I think that this. Well, you're right. Yes, I agree with you, Ashley. Yeah, she says everyone's name multiple times.
He goes, listen, I've had that truck for 6.5 years before I even met her. Right. I've had coworkers in the truck. Yeah. I mean, I could have been on a date with somebody in that truck. And she goes, it was fresh.
But and they all like, it was fresh. Is there a date on it?
Could you tell when it expires? Like, what do you mean it's fresh?
No. Did it smell weird?
I mean, so they're all like, yeah, it's a little sketchy maybe, but it's possible that it was from somebody else. And then
Have they seen Gino's house? It's totally possible that he did not clean his car.
It's interesting too that Rob said that when Sophie was leaving one time, he went in his bathroom and pulled a lipstick off the counter and was like, this is yours. She's like, no, it's not. And it was just something that had been in his bathroom that he just assumed was hers, but it was like from somebody else. And she's like, yeah, right. He just showed it to me. Like, whatever.
Yeah.
And then we do a cut to this picture of Manuel, and he's stroking the sequins on Ashley's dress. Did you see that? It was it was cute. It was like a 4-year-old, like, oh, this is so pretty.
The texture, like, those pillows where you put the sequins one way and then the other way, and you just I need one of those. I think that would be good for my tactile. I'm
Yeah.
like Manuel. But don't get too excited, Manuel, because they're just going to start having sex behind the couch on the tell-all.
Oh my God. Just bend over. It's so easy.
It out. Yeah.
So now we start talking about the bachelor party. And Jasmine says, everybody saw my bachelorette party and there were no strippers. I just went on a van with my friends. And he goes, yeah, but you know, that Kimberly from A Date with Dateline, she reminded us that you had a stripper the first time I came to Panama.
Thank you. I was
get credit.
Excited. Finally, someone told Gino about that. Like a viewer told him.
Yeah.
Like, remember?
Yeah. How could you forget? And she goes, he goes, you had that stripper, and then that stripper was right. It was on top of you. The guy was on top of you. And
yes, for
it
sure.
was the divorce party. I didn't fucking enter the strip club.
How does that make it? It was in a private hotel room. Is that better? That makes it better?
I think it's worse.
I think it's worse. Yeah.
So everybody sits in stunned silence when she says she didn't enter the strip club. So she's so mad. Now, you have to wonder if Clayton is like, see, I told you it's bad. Strippers are bad.
Strippers are bad. I know. This whole thing is triggering both couples.
So everybody's just sitting there like stunned. And Gino says, see, this is the kind of stuff that affects me greatly. And she goes, oh, it's so frustrating. And Clayton says, she should have spent that money on anger management. And she goes, shut up. Shut the fuck up.
I thought that was funny with Clayton.
Did you see how red he turns?
He is not used to be screaming that like that. And that he retreated into guinea pig mode.
He sure did. He was over there going. He turned red as a tomato.
I mean, wouldn't you be terrified if demonic Jasmine screams at you? It's like a dementor is going to come out of her mouth and like suck your body into it. It's like terrifying. She goes from 0 to 1,000.
But, you know, he should have known not to say that. He should have said that. So he thought he was like, ooh, here's my zinger.
Exactly.
And then shut up, being done. So Sean says, okay, Gino, why did you keep this bachelor party a secret? And he goes, she was in the middle of her embassy interviews and she was in the middle of saying goodbye to her family. I didn't want to upset her, so I just figured I'd tell her later. And then Sean goes, it's interesting. We have some never before seen footage of the strip club. And oh my God, Jasmine's got her arms crossed over her chest and she is just fuming. And so we see Gino, you know, making it rain and dancing with the girls. Like, okay, good. Oh, you want my belt? Oh goodness. Oh, okay, baby, yeah. And Rob laughs and is like, make it rain, Gino. And he's, you know, and Devin covers Nick's eyes and he goes, babe, I've been to a strip club. And the longer the footage goes on, everyone is looking more and more like horrified. And someone says,
it's pretty shocking.
And somebody, a guy, but I couldn't tell. They didn't show who it was. Some male on the couch says, uh-oh, it's getting worse.
Yeah.
And then we see Gino on stage giving a girl his belt. And then she like ties him to the chair with the belt. And she's like rubbing her cooch on his head.
Yes.
And the other girl's like on his lap. And Rob whispers to Sophie, do you see what's happening over here? Jasmine is losing her shit. And Gino is smiling. And Sophie looks over there. And Jasmine goes, just cut it. I can't see another minute. Just cut it. I don't want to see it, Sean. And
Sean's like, keep the tape rolling.
Keep it rolling. This is gold. And then we see Gino getting straddled with this woman. And Sam goes, looks like a fun night to me.
Oh my God. Sam.
And Gino goes, yeah, it was a bachelor party. It's a once in a lifetime thing, except for I've been married twice. So it was a twice in a lifetime thing. And Nikki goes, how do you feel that your wife is crying? And Justigor goes, Gino, after you get home from that party, you give sex with your wife? And he goes, no, she wasn't in U.S. Such a weird way of speaking.
Yeah.
And Clayton says, well, the evidence is damning. And he was enjoying it. And Sam goes, it's a bachelor party. Who cares? And Sean goes, well, to give us a firsthand view of what was happening that night, we have one of the dancers. It's Daisy.
Daisy's going to get murdered by Jasmine through the screen.
This was gold. This was gold. She's sitting in front of a rack of bikinis.
She's in the dressing room at the club.
And they said, Daisy, from your perspective, what was going on with Gino at that nightclub? First of all, it was probably 8 months ago, and she doesn't remember this guy from anything.
Right. I mean, there was a camera crew, so it made it a little
Maybe.
different. Maybe she watches the show.
She says, well, he was really awkward.
Yeah.
And he seemed uninterested in being there. He just wanted to hang out with his family and have a good time. Can I have my Amazon gift card now? Am I done?
Also, none of that is what we saw. He was motorboating that girl's naked boobies.
He was a very active participant.
Yeah.
And Gino says, yeah, I was just there. I wasn't even in like a VIP room or anything. And before he can finish his sentence, Jasmine goes,
that matter.
Those women's were half naked and you were hugging her with her chest out. I would have never gotten married to you if I've seen this. I was asking and you didn't tell me. You were hugging them. You never treat me this way. You never compliment me. You never make me feel desired. Okay, that's a fucking stripper. I mean, spiral to the floor. She's
Only
spiraled.
dogs can hear her now.
I mean,
also,
oh my God.
He does compliment her all the time. He says how beautiful she looks all the time.
He
goes, "Oh, baby, you look so hot, so sexy. Look at those melons."
On the way into the thing, he's like, here comes the queen. She's amazing. Yeah. Look how beautiful she is. Like, she just spirals and says things, and she really has got to get a hold of that.
But I do think he doesn't have sex with her a lot, and that's where a lot of this insecurity comes from. Yeah.
Right.
But we've already established it's because she screams at him and says horrible things.
It's a horrible...
little Gino retreats into his body because he gets so sensitive.
It's a horrible spiral.
It is. It's like the chicken or the egg. And it just keeps going and going. Yeah.
And he goes, well, stop saying hurtful things to me and maybe it would be different. And she goes, I'm not going to stay here. I can't take it. You played, Gino. You wanted this. You got it. So she walks off and they're all like, ooh, sick burn. Nikki and her dress follow her. And he says, I did nothing wrong. I have the right to have fun at my bachelor party. Am I right, fellas? Am I right? And Jasmine goes in the back.
What's your opinion on this as a married lady about bachelor parties and strippers? Exotic dancers.
Okay. I think that if you're a bunch of dudes and you go to a strip club, those girls have a job.
Mm-hmm.
And their job is to pretend to love you and think you're hot and grind all over you.
Yeah, of course. Mm-hmm.
That's their job.
Yes.
They're not interested in you. They don't want to meet you later for a drink.
Right.
They don't want to have an affair with you. They would like to go home and take a bath and go to bed.
Of course. But so that's not how the guy feels about it.
Most men know that this is here for a good time, not a long time.
Right.
I mean, most guys know that they're not finding their wife up in the club.
Right.
They are sexualizing these women just like the women are using them for their money. They're both using each other.
Right.
That's the way I see it.
Yeah.
Do I want my husband being like Jovi and Yara? Like Jovi wants to go up to the strip club like every single weekend? No, I would be disgusted and it would be a waste of money and I would be mad and it would be a huge problem.
Yeah.
But if every so often and like every third or fourth year, my husband was like, I've got to go to this bachelor party, this strip club. I'd be like, okay. And then I'd ask him a million questions when he came home.
Yeah.
Because I'd be like legit interested.
I'd be like, how are the girls compensated? Are they treated fairly? Are they being victimized in this situation?
Right. Yes.
Is she going to school and saving her money away?
Right.
Or does she have like is the club not providing adequate safety for her? That's what I would be interested in. But I feel like there's a line between watching and enjoying and what Gino was doing. That was extreme.
He was laying on his back and that woman was grinding on top of him.
He was laying on his back and they were simulating sex. Yes,
yeah,
absolutely. And he was motorboating her naked boobies.
Like, yeah, I'm not okay with that. I'm not okay with the touching part.
Yeah. I thought that was too far.
Anyway, so in the back, Jasmine is, she is full on screaming.
Yeah. That's what a panic attack is, Ashley.
I don't know if that's a panic attack or a over dramatization of your feelings.
A mental breakdown. Yeah.
Mental breakdown. Yeah. But we get next time on, and then when we see like visions, panoramic, she's back. So she got over it.
Yeah, she's fine. She does get over things pretty quickly. I mean,
She does.
she'll keep bringing it up, but her tone calms down and her
Well,
face.
they're not having sex tonight because
No.
she's already insulted him.
Yeah.
So Gino says it does. He goes, look, it does affect her regarding the strip club. He says it does affect her because, you know, like my ex worked at a strip club when she was a dancer at a strip club. And
There we go.
Rob goes, man, what the fuck? And Sean goes, yeah, I don't think we knew that, Gino. Like, I think that's brand new information.
Exactly. We're always finding out random new information about this ex.
I know.
The ex that spread the photos of Jasmine.
Yeah. So Sean asks Sam about having this one night stand. And he was like, oh, yeah, like it was no big deal. Like, what?
What?
I mean, I guess it was before Citra arrived.
Does Herman know about this? There's no way Herman knows about this.
Herman knows now.
Uh-huh.
And Nikki goes, oh my God, I would never trust him. Well, guess what? She's having a baby, so it's too late.
Mm-hmm.
Now we see Brandy comes to the stage, Clayton's sister. And Clayton says, Yay, this is what we want. And Clayton says, yeah, I think Brandy got the stripper just to mess with our relationship. Like she knew how I felt about it. And Ashley you seem very bothered by your sister.
Mm-hmm.
He says, yeah, and she's very bothered by me having a happy relationship.
This is weird dynamics, and I hope we get into it. And I want to know why the mom doesn't live with Brandy anymore, and I want to know all about it.
I want to know why the sister's been married 4 times.
Why is she 4 times? And that brother that passed away, there's just this is a weird family. They're like the Kennedys or something. That was a bad comparison.
Yeah.
Fall of the House of Usher. Something weird going on.
Nick says regarding Devin, I mean, she's skinny now, way skinnier, but I still call her Piggy. And the parents say, like, that's embarrassing. And Sean says, Devin, was your weight loss influenced by him calling you a name that means fat? Now, I think that she has on her Instagram explained that during the pandemic and that she, like a lot of people, including me, gained a lot of weight and that she did slowly but surely get it off in a natural, healthy way. And now she's back to what she was before. But we will see if there's underlying with your husband calling you Piggy, if that is going to be any part of it.
Yeah. I don't want to say too much about her body, but I have thoughts.
Okay. Justigor.
The whole thing makes it his attitude.
How about this bothers her? Stop saying
it. It's so simple. She's asking for so little. It's that one word she does not like. So stop using it.
I don't understand why it's so hard and why he's doubling down on this is my pet name and I will use it.
That just shows a lack of disrespect for your wife it's like the cake smashing at the wedding, which I talk about on our podcast all the time. It's like, it's one thing and the guy might think it's dumb to be upset about it, but it represents the level of respect that you have for her.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So Justigor says regarding Nikki, she don't know nothing about how to act like a lady in a straight relationship. And Ashley says, this is a woman. Stop disrespecting her like that. Every time you say something like that, you're causing more damage to her. You need to stop. And then we see Nikki, and Nikki is like quietly breaking down and having a panic attack.
Real panic attack.
Yeah.
I know panic attacks look different. Someone's going to come at me.
No, I mean,
I've had many panic attacks and that they usually look more like Nikki's and not like Ashley's.
Yes. Yes. I mean, we saw on Vanderpump Rules the season of Scandival when they were going out to the desert and Rachel was in the car. She was talking about a bad situation that happened with James. And when they were talking about it, she started like hyperventilating and saying, I think I'm going to throw up. I need to get some air. And they're like, oh, she's having they pulled the car over. That's more like, I think I'm going to throw up. I need some air, that kind of thing. That's usually in my experience.
Yes. If you don't usually have enough breath in your lungs to scream that you are ugly crying. Literally.
To narrate your panic
what is happening. She gives a play-by-play of the panic attack.
I am ugly crying.
Right
I am now flinging my arm out the window. Oh, now I'm drinking my coffee.
One tear is coming out, and I'm ugly crying. My mascara is running, literally.
Literally. Oh my gosh. Kimberly, I will say that on Saturday night, I settled in to watch Dateline because I always do, and it wasn't on. I was very upset.
What
Usually
do you
it's
mean?
on Friday and Saturday. There was not a Dateline on Saturday night.
Oh, I think that was only during the fall. Well, so it changes. Saturdays are always repeats, first of all.
Okay,
We made
that was
them
fine with
some
me. I was
we
babysitting. I was
made them
happy.
some merch at one point that said Saturdays are always repeats for the
Okay.
Dateline thing, and they put it up in their office because they got so sick of telling people on Instagram.
Yeah,
To be
yeah.
like, this seems like a repeat. Saturdays are always repeats. Lately, it's been Sundays has been having repeats. I don't know what they're doing over at NBC. They just
Well, it was an episode of The Weakest Link, and I didn't need that.
no
I
one
didn't need
needs.
that.
No one's
I wanted a rerun of
Yeah.
Dateline.
Yeah.
I was babysitting. I was trying to get the baby right on that Murderino train.
Yeah.
Just like the baby and I are watching Dateline. Oh
Yeah,
God, I was
start
so
them off
happy with
right.
that baby. Did you see the picture of the baby?
No, I gotta go look.
Oh my God, Kimberly. So I was babysitting. It might be gone now for my Instagram.
I'm not really a baby person, but I'm sure.
Well,
it's
just a big fat round baby. I mean, you just can't. And all he does is just smile and laugh at you and go and make noises. Like he just smiles and he's so big and fat and cute. And so that was Saturday night. We are currently doing this episode on Monday, and my biceps on both arms are literally like atrophied. Like they hurt so bad I can hardly straighten my arms.
Yeah.
This baby's 18 pounds, and like you're holding and walking and holding and walking, and your bicep hurts so freaking bad. My biceps hurt.
I have heard that when mothers get like bad back problems from being, or their hips are askew because they keep the baby on one hip.
Yes.
And you're supposed to switch back and forth. It'll like throw off your whole skeleton because those babies are so heavy.
Yes. And Anna, I've told this many times, my daughter, who's about to be 21, was 33 pounds at 1 year old. That's a very large baby.
That seems like a very large. I don't know anything about babies, but
John was always like just a little above average. Anna was always like off the chart. John was always a little above average, and he was 33 pounds at 2.
Oh my God.
She was a full year ahead. That's what I'm saying.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And then she didn't.
She was size beautiful. No body shaming.
She was size beautiful. And all her little friends started like standing up and walking, and she was still crawling because she was like,
no.
What?
I'm
fat and happy on the floor.
Uh-uh.
Why would I do that? Somebody's going to pick me up. Come on now. It's probably why I have back problems. I have to go get back injections.
Yeah.
Blame her. Well, so what are you guys covering on Date with Dateline this week?
We are covering A Life Interrupted, which is the Jennifer Dulos story, which is a pretty popular. That's not the right word. Famous. Well known in the true crime universe. And there was a huge update on Friday, and Dateline got it in their Friday night episode because they're pros.
D-U-L-O-W, Dulo?
Dulos.
D-U-L-O-S.
L-O-S, yeah.
Okay, I'm just writing that down for later reference. But I think my DVR would have caught it if it was a new episode.
Yes.
Okay, well, that's good. And so that'll come out on Wednesday.
Yeah.
And over on Pink Shade Pride and The Love is Blind, episode 12, recap in 2 parts will come out on Wednesday, and there will be a YouTube video accompanying it. And Keisha and I are dressed as brides.
Yes.
And I did wear my wedding attire for 2 hours.
Oh my God, I'm so excited.
I wasn't happy about it because I thought I was just going to put the veil on for the wedding part. But Keisha's like, no, this is in my hair and this is what I'm wearing. I was like, well, so I did it.
I love it.
By the time I was like, ripped it off at the end. I was so happy. So you guys, when you watch Love is Blind, episode 12, and I've been telling you that episode is going to blow your mind, please agree with me. It is a mind-blowing episode.
Can I just watch that one, or do I have to watch the whole season?
You're going to have to watch the whole season.
I know. I've never seen the show, and all of my favorite podcasters cover it, and I've still never seen it.
So good.
I know.
You guys are covering The Traitors over on your
we are,
Patreon
and we just did a book club with our friend Laura Norton, who's the host of The Fall Line, her book for Patreon and Supercast, and that was really, really amazing. She's so smart, and that was great. And then Yeah. We do a thing called Don't Watch Alone. Watch like nobody's watching, where we just talk about what TV shows we're watching.
Okay.
And yeah, we're doing some fun stuff.
I'm glad you said Laura Norton because we follow each other, and I've had her on the podcast, Payne and the Pod, a long time ago.
She said that, in fact, we were talking about you, and she said, I was on her original podcast forever ago.
Yeah. Yes. And so we follow each other and, have always kind of, kept in touch on the social media. And I am really looking for a way to interview Karen Kilgariff when I'm in LA. And that could be my end because she is on the Exactly Right network, the Fall Line.
Oh, okay.
So that could be my end because I've been thinking, who in the world would know Karen Kilgariff that could get me just like an email,
Oh, yeah.
That's not my favorite murder at gmail.com.
Right. Exactly.
Because we know what happens with those emails.
Yeah.
Laura Norton could be my gateway. Okay. All right. I don't
Happy
want to tell
to help.
anybody yeah, thank you.
I'm always happy to be a connector.
Yes. I love that too. I connected this week Keisha with Krista Rosa, who has the podcast Fixing Famous People. He gives you a person and you kind of do a little research and then you come on and you talk about like what's wrong. Like my episode was the Chrisleys, talk about like what's wrong with them. And then he and his podcast.
Interesting. So it's so you pick a famous person.
They tell you who you're doing.
They tell you, and then you do some research.
Yeah.
And then you do what's wrong with them, like what their drama is.
Yeah. Like here's the story of the Chrisleys and here's what they did.
I love it.
Okay. And then at the end, he and his podcast partner, Dominic, they're both reality TV producers. So they give you how they would fix them. And so I went on, I did the Chrisleys. There was I'm not going to tell you it, but there was an unprecedented thing that happened on that episode that had never happened before. And I'm waiting to get my sash or my banner or my crown or whatever prize I'm going to win.
Yeah.
Because they're like, this has never happened in the history of the show. No one's ever guessed this answer right. And I was like, so they're great. So my episode with them is coming out soon. But I hooked, like you're talking about connecting people, I hooked them up with Keisha because she talks so much shit on her podcast, The Libra Lounge, about famous people. Yeah. She would be great.
Yeah.
She would be great.
Well, I have met a million famous people. No, but I
know you have.
To talk about.
No, they'll say, here are some people that are problematic right now.
Gotcha.
Here are 6 people to pick from. Do you want to pick?
That's a riot.
They did Alyssa Milano. And then of course I was like, what has she done? Then I had to go look up what she did.
Yeah. She's always problematic. She's very outspoken. Yeah.
So like, they'll give you like, here's a list of like 6 people. Which of these people do you want to fix? And you're
That's
like,
hilarious.
oh. Yeah. So anyway, that podcast is called Fixing Famous People. Kimberly has a podcast called Date with Dateline. I have a podcast called Pink Shade. Wednesday
you're in the 9,000s right now, right?
Yes, girl. My Instagram has gone so far up because of the Love is Blind coverage.
It's not because of my one post where I told people to go follow you.
I could have gotten a few from that, but I've gone up like the Love is Blind reels, Kimberly, have gotten like 300,000 views.
Oh my God.
It doesn't equal.
People are obsessed with that show.
It doesn't equal listeners, or it doesn't equal Instagram followers or TikTok followers or whatever. It doesn't equal that because it just comes in somebody's feed, because they like something else about Love is Blind. My reel will come up. Mm-hmm. But it's over 300,000 views on this one reel. There's like over 100,000 on the other 2 that I've done about Love is Blind.
That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm in the 9100s, I think.
No, 9251.
What? God, Love is Blind. Thank you for helping me.
Amazing.
What will we do? Should we have a party?
Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, I was so excited when we hit 10,000 and then they changed like what it meant. And
I know.
What you got from it like the next day.
I know. They did. I know. Well, maybe I'll hit 10,000 when I'm in LA and we'll have a celebration.
Yes.
And then I want to ask you again, you told me that name of that place in LA. I need to call about our bunkie meetup. Yeah, guys, we are going to do a bunkie meetup in LA, and it will likely be Saturday, March 30th. That really is the plan. And yes, Kimberly says she will come. Mm-hmm. She retains the right to back out if she doesn't want to leave her house, but I hope she'll come. And yeah, it'll just be a casual meetup. We just have to find a bar that would be able to accommodate us.
Right. And I
And,
think the place I suggested is good if you're willing to come to the valley.
I'll do whatever. I don't care. Everything will be Uber for us. It'll just be throwing money at all the problems.
Right.
It'll be just
No,
like,
that's good. Don't worry about a car, just Uber.
Don't have to worry about a car. Yeah. Okay, everybody. So when that is solidified, I will announce here on the podcast about the LA Bunkie meetup. And if you want to sign up for our newsletter, it will also appear there. You can sign up for that in the link below. And that's where you get all the information about what's happening this week and next week on the pod. So Kimberly, everybody follow Kimberly at Dateline. That's where she and Katie have their amazing podcast. And I'll talk to you next week for Tell All Part 2.
Yay!
Ads not read by me, Mary Payne, don't necessarily reflect the views of Pink Shade. If you'd like to listen to ad-free, you're going to go on over to Supercast or Patreon, and you can find the links to Pink Shade Prime at pinkshadepodcast.com.